Welcome to Colonel Basketball Weekly, featuring the head coaches of Nicholls State University basketball, J.P. Piper and DoBee Plaisance. Today's program is presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, dedicated to patient-centered excellence. Colonel Basketball Weekly is also sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. You're either local or you're not. And People's Health, your Medicare health team. Good afternoon and welcome to Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. I'm your host, Mike Wagenheim. Coming up, we've got highlights, interviews, a look around the Southland Conference, and more. Following a clean sweep of opening weekend in the Southland by the Nicholls men's and women's basketball teams, hopes were high as the Red and Gray hit the highway for a pair of games. The Nicholls men's basketball team started the year with 4 consecutive losses, but they got it in gear and entered last weekend winners of 5 of their last 7 games, including a pair of Southland victories to begin their conference campaign. Last Thursday, they looked to build on those good fortunes on the road, facing a Lamar team that had dropped 10 straight games. This one wasn't a cakewalk, though. Let's head to the Montaigne Center in Beaumont, Texas. The Colonels trailed throughout much of the first half. Luke Doyle notches a 3 here off the assist from Pedro Maciel. Doyle's lone bucket of the day. Colonels down a point at the 7:30 mark. They finally take the lead on this brilliant finish by Shane Rillier, who gets flipped in midair. After the free throw, Nicholls was up 22-20. Rillier scored 7 points. Under 5 minutes to go before halftime, now tied at 24. Dantrell Thomas, right side. The pretty pump and the paint jumper. DT with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a couple of steals. He's establishing himself as one of the league's premier players. Meanwhile, sophomore Sam Macbeth coming back strong from a foot injury. He pops out here and drills a 3. Macbeth scores 14 points on 4 of 5 shooting from outside the arc. Colonels up 2 at the break. Under 15 minutes left. Terrific ball movement here. Macbeth ends up the beneficiary. That puts Nicholls up 42-38. The Colonels shot 50% from the field after halftime. Nicholls would hold Lamar without a basket for the last 8 minutes and 32 seconds. And if not for some missed free throws down the stretch, the Colonels would have won this handily. They do enough to get it done, though. Liam Thomas takes a lob and lays it in to put the Colonels up 4. DT now with a slam off the nice outlet from Rillier. Nicholls wins it 64-60. The Colonel bench outscored Lamar's 21-0. Amos Wilson had a double-double for Lamar, 14 points and 10 boards, plus 2 blocked shots. Nicholls, though, off to a 3-0 start in the Southland for the first time since the 1997-98 season, when they won the league and advanced to the NCAA tournament. Well, Saturday presented a chance for Nicholls to be among just 2 remaining teams left in the league without a loss as they visited Sam Houston State. Nicholls won both meetings against the Bearcats last season, which included a thrilling overtime win at home before narrowly escaping Huntsville with a win in the rematch. Sam Houston ran their record of 4-0 at home with a win over McNeese State last Thursday night. Johnson Coliseum in Huntsville. Colonels get it going early. Dantrell Thomas hit a pair of 3s in the opening moments as Nicholls blazed out to an 8-0 lead. The Red and Gray led by as many as 11. Thomas finished up with 14 points, 5 assists, and a couple of block shots in this one. It started very well for the Colonels. Here's another 3 from DT. It did not continue to go that way, though. Jabari Peters goes coast to coast, the bucket and the foul. Peters with 18 points and 7 helpers as the Cats came roaring back. They would grab the lead at the 6-minute mark of the first half. Markel McKinney misses the bunny here, but Nathaniel Mason is there for the tip-in. Mason scored 8 off the bench. Nicholls, once up by 11, trailed by 11 at the break. Early second half, Thomas has it ripped away. It's Paul Baxter pushing and finishing. Baxter scored 12. Sam Houston produced 17 points off of turnovers. About 9 minutes to go, Colonels down big. Thomas, though, stuffing to Kari Henderson. Pedro Maciel with the outlet to Shane Rillier. Shane had 13 points, but Sam Houston went up by as many as 30. Maciel with a steal here. The Colonels still hustling defensively. The lead ahead to TJ Carpenter. He registered 11 points, but it wasn't nearly enough. 88-61 Bearcats. Sam Houston shot 60% from the field in the second half. Nicholls now sits at 6-7 overall, but 3-1 in the Southland. Well, our Alex Tullis chatted with head coach J.P. Piper about why things went downhill in Huntsville.
I thought that we didn't match Sam Houston's intensity. Those guys were swept by us last year. had revenge on their mind, really brought a high level of energy into the game, played a very physical, aggressive game, and we just never matched their intensity. We got off to a quick start, made a few shots, and then kind of settled in, and they really ramped up their intensity, and we were never able to match it for the rest of the game. We kind of held on till halftime. The game was still manageable going into the half. But they came out in the second half and jumped all over us, and we really never were able to respond. Frustrating. Lots of lessons to be learned in that game. Things that we did we don't normally do. We were able to examine why those things happened to us, what caused that to happen. And our goal is to find ourselves in that situation again where we have a chance to win 2 games on the road, particularly with a tough game on Saturday, and find a way to win, meet that challenge. We weren't up to the task this time. Hopefully next time we will be.
Now, you mentioned lots of lessons learned. Can you detail that?
Well, we had fatigue play a factor in the game. We had guys have to play some long stretches because of foul trouble. And so under fatigue, we gave in mentally in some situations, gambled for steals, ended up costing us buckets, took poor shots, of course, under pressure. But really, I thought caved in mentally. And so what we were able to talk about was when we get in that situation again, being mentally stronger, doing the things we've been coached to do, not caving in to fatigue and kind of looking for an easy way out. Fighting the fight, if you will, battling through that adversity within the game. It's what good teams do. And look, we're not a finished product. We're learning how to be a good team. And good teams win on the road. We were able to get 1 of 2. But to really be a good championship caliber team, you got to find a way to get 2 on the road. And we're just not quite there yet, but I think we can get there before the season's over.
Okay, now as far as shooting, do you think that they were taking smart shots?
I thought there were times in the game where we didn't manage that well. Early in the game, yes, we had good balance between interior shots and perimeter shots. As the game wore on, I was really challenging them to get the ball to the rim more and take more interior shots. After looking at tape, Sam Houston was determined to protect the rim and not allow us to get to the rim, so we probably, in hindsight, needed to shoot more perimeter jump shots. And didn't do that. So maybe should have managed the game better, and that's more on the coach than the players, quite frankly. They did what I asked them to do, and that was to try to challenge the rim. So we've got to seek to have a little better balance and maybe realize in game what Sam Houston was trying to do to us. I just felt like we needed to be determined to get it to the rim. Usually works for us. It didn't work on this night.
Hey, now that you're back home for 4 of the next 5 conference games, how important is it during this home stretch before you go back on the road?
I think it's huge. We're sitting at 3 wins. If we can win the 4 at home, that gets you to 7 wins. Puts you pretty close to being qualified for the conference tournament. I think it's going to take 8, 9, 10 wins to get in the conference tournament this year. Protecting our house is also important. It's not just the wins getting the conference, but you want to try to go undefeated at home. Again, I think that's a sign of a good team. Championship caliber teams don't lose home games, shouldn't lose home games. So that's part of our mindset. It was one of our team goals at the beginning of the year was to protect our house and not lose games at home. So we will work hard to do that. We've got to take it one at a time. Honestly, didn't even know that we had 4 of our next 5 at home. I was aware that the next 2 were at home, and those are the 2 we're going to focus on. And really just got to get through Thursday. Got to try to get to 4-1, and then we'll figure out what to do from there.
Thank you, Coach. That was Coach J.P. Piper. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Alex. Folks, taking a look at the Southland Conference standings after 2 weeks of play, Stephen F. Austin reigns supreme. The Lumberjacks are the only undefeated team left and have won 12 in a row overall. Nichols, though, is one of 4 teams sitting just a game back. Southeastern Louisiana swept this past weekend to get back into the mix. Folks, there are a total of 18 conference games before the league tournament in Katy, Texas in mid-March. The top 8 qualifiers from the regular season advance for a shot at the Southland's automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Al Nichols is back at home this weekend. They'll take on new Southland member Houston Baptist on Thursday. Tip time is 7:30. Then it's Texas A&M Corpus Christi coming in on Saturday. That game is set for 3:30. You can hear both contests on the Colonel Sports Radio Network, presented by your local Super Chevy dealers, including our flagship station, ESPN 100.3 The Game, which can be heard in New Orleans, the River Region, and the Tri-Parishes. It's on to McNeese State on Tuesday night for a matchup with the rival Cowboys. That one is scheduled for 8 o'clock. You can hear it on ESPN 100.3. You can also watch it live on Comcast Sportsnet Houston. CSN Houston is carried in Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Check your local listings. We will be right back with more of Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, in just a moment.
You may know Thibodaux Regional Medical Center is the only hospital in the region recognized by J.D. Power and Associates 9 times. But did you know they're the only hospital in the region to receive HealthGrade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award 6 times in a row? The only hospital in the region to receive 9 Summit Awards? And the only hospital in the state whose cancer program has received the Outstanding Achievement Award 3 times? Sam's mom, Liz Dietrich, knows. Families know. Thibodaux Regional Medical Center for expert, compassionate care.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day.
Come on, Chef. Let's go shopping.
All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
you know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day
and get our best price every day. Rouse's. You're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for. Every day we find a way to make your life better. That's what we're here for. Yeah, we're all about the people. We help you take care of yourself. That's what we do. We're here for you with people's health.
Welcome back to Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. Folks, you can watch each and every non-televised Nichols home game on your computer or mobile device through Colonel's All Access. Live and on-demand viewing is available with daily, weekly, and yearly rates. We even include select road games for free. If you're a Nichols fan, you need to have a Colonel's All Access subscription. Log on to GoColonels.com. That's GEAUX. GoColonels.com to register today. Now, the Nichols women's basketball team started their Southland slate with a pair of lopsided wins at home, defeating New Orleans and Southeastern Louisiana by an average of 39 points. Last Thursday would mark their first test on the road in league play, and the competition was much stiffer. They would head to Beaumont, Texas to take on the Lamar Lady Cardinals. Nichols, which lost on a buzzer beater at the Montaigne Center last year, hadn't registered a win here at Lamar since 2002. Early in the game, Lamar comes out pressing. KK Babin splits a pair of defenders. Nichols works it around the perimeter, and Imani White finds Taylor Morrison for the bonus ball, 1 of 4 for her. Colonels hit 10 threes. Morrison scored a season-high 14. White becoming one of the premier point guards in the league. The drive and dish to Jean-Marie Guillory for the lay-in. White with 6 helpers. That was Guillory's only bucket. Nichols down 2 about 5 minutes in. Now it's White piling on the points. The step-back 3 here pulls the Colonels within 1. Imani scored a game-high 23 points. She leads the Southland in scoring. Very tight game early. White with a steal. She would finish at the other end. Turnovers were a problem for both sides in this one. Nichols down 2 at the 13-minute mark. White trying to do more here. Nowhere to go. It's KK Babin getting the ball, feeding Jasmine Scott. Jasmine scored 4 points. Nice runner in the paint. The game is tied at 14. Good ball movement here, breaking down the pressure defense. Babin to Scott. She turns and sees Morrison. The 3 ball from the corner. We're tied at 17. The Colonels grab their first lead a few minutes later, then add to it here. White with a drive and dish to Jenny Nash. Jenny with 10 points, 7 boards, and 3 assists. But Lamar goes on a 13-3 run, and Nichols never led again. Morrison lines up another 3 here on the assist from White. Late first half, You betcha. Taylor Morrison again, the three-time All-State selection out of Baton Rouge, putting together a promising freshman year. But Lamar scored the final 9 points of the half, and the Colonels just couldn't get over the hump after the break, falling 82-66. White with a double-double, including a career-high 10 rebounds. Jamisha Edwards led Lamar with 21 points and 7 boards. On to Saturday, as the Colonels would look for a weekend split, visiting Sam Houston State. The Bearcats had won 5 straight against Nichols, but entered this contest on a 7-game losing skid. During that run, Sam Houston had failed to score 60 points in a game while scoring less than 50 3 times. Now, the Colonels would seize the lead in this ball game early on. Here we are at the Johnson Center in Huntsville. 3 minutes in, the Cats leave KK Babin unguarded coming up the floor, and she drills a 3. It's 3-2 in favor of Nichols. That would be the only lead in the first 30 minutes for the Colonels. Angela Beadle way off the mark here, but Nia Carter cleans up the mess there. Carter with 9 rebounds and 6 points. Cats up 7-3. Midway through the first now, neither team very effective from the outside, but they match buckets here. Morgan Day connects for Sam Houston to put them up 14. Both teams went 5 of 21 from downtown and shot under 33% from the field. Nichols started just 1 of 14 from the field, including until here, Amani White knocks down the 3 ball. That sparked a 7-0 run. Colonels fought their way back in it, trailed 25-22 at the break. Second half now, under 13 minutes to go. We got a 2-point game. It's Jasmine Scott with a drive and kiss off the glass. Scott scored 8. The game tied at 30. This one went back and forth over the closing 30 minutes. Under 3 to go, Nichols down 1. Taylor Morrison misses from the baseline, but Jenny Nash collects the rebound, giving the Colonels a lead. Nichols back down 1, 18 seconds left. Sam Houston trying to disrupt the press, but Nichols breaks it down. Babin with the outlet to Nash, the ball fake and the bucket. Nichols up 1 with 5 seconds to play. Last chance for the Cats, a half second on the clock. Jasmine Johnson with a fadeaway in the corner. Count it. A heartbreaking loss for Nichols. 51-50 is your final. Johnson scored a game-high 17. That shot right there made SportsCenter's top 10 plays of the day. The Colonels hurt themselves, going just 1 of 7 from the line down the stretch. Nichols standing at 7-8 overall and an even 2-2 in the Southland. Earlier this week, Tiffany Williams caught up with head coach DoBee Plaisance after practice and asked her whether it was best to let Saturday's loss go and move on.
No, they need to feel it, and it wasn't just a Sam Houston loss. It was a complete scenario in terms of how we reacted on the road, or how we've been reacting on the road, and that's what we have to clean up. You have to feel it. You have to feel a loss, because you have to know what that feeling is, not to want to go there again. And in terms of moving on, absolutely we need to move on, and today was a new day, and I think just their attitudes at practice and everything like that is showing that they're ready to move on. But I hope that game sits with them, stings with them just so much that it never wants to come back to them again.
On the road, the team's been struggling to make shots. What do you think the reasoning is behind that?
Well, we're great shooters, and I don't want to paint them into a box. I don't want to say that we can't shoot because we're on the road, although it's certainly been the case. I just think it's a situation where mentally we just have to come in there a little more focused at our shoot-arounds. You know, on the road, we intentionally, the workload is lighter for obvious reasons. You know, we're playing 2 games in 3 days, and that could tend to let the mental side sort of be a little bit comfortable, if you will. And we've been a little bit too comfortable at our shoot-arounds, and that's going to change. But I take responsibility for that. I'm the one that has to set a better tone at those shoot-arounds, that we're not as comfortable and a little more intense and focused, because I don't care whether we're in Stoford Gym, any other coliseum or arena in the country. I have great shooters, I have great players, and they can shoot the ball anywhere.
What's the team's mental state right now going into these next 2 games against Houston Baptist and Corpus Christi?
Great question, and we've only had 1 practice. But the practice today, they're ready. Like, they're ready to move on. I think they know what we're capable of doing, and I think they're smart enough to understand that we've been falling short on the details. We've been falling short on the intangibles. And that's what, as a staff, we're trying to, invoke in them, that understand, ladies, it's not the talent, and it's not the mechanics. It's the attention to details and the intangibles. We have to sustain our level of focus. We have to sustain our level of intensity. And once that happens, we will be a force to reckon with. Don't count us out.
On a positive note, Imani White had a terrific game against Lamar. Do you think she can keep this pace up?
Our team's going to go as Imani and KK Babin goes. Imani and KK Babin is a 1-2 tandem that is, to me, untouched in this conference. When we have both of them putting up big numbers, whether it be points and or assists, you go look at our track record, we win. You know, that we had a real big win, a double-digit win. Together they only had 8 points, but also combined they had 14 assists. So KK and Imani, we can keep them scoring the basketball and getting the basketball to the right scorers, including themselves. They got to find each other. We're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And absolutely, both of them can keep up any kind of pace that's put in front of them.
During practice, what are you doing to prepare for these 2 games that are coming up this weekend?
To win, a lot of defensive focus, a lot of focus on the defensive end of the ball. I've always been a defensive guru, if you will, and I do believe in any sport. You know, you watch the NFL, it's probably the team, more likely the team with the best defense is probably going to be the team that wins the Super Bowl. And so we have to be more consistent on defense. Like I said, we have not been shooting the ball well, but that's going to come. That's going to happen. It's about us making stops. We make stops on the road and we win. And so that's been our focus, and we're going to be fine. Trust me. The Colonels are still in the house.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Thanks so much. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Tiffany. Well, after the first 2 weeks of Southland competition, it's Stephen F. Austin on top. The Lady Jacks have won 7 straight. New league member Abilene Christian has registered a pair of victories to start their tenure in the circuit. Lamar is hot. They've won 3 straight. The Colonels are one of 5 teams with a 500 record, tied for 6th place. About 2 months to go now until the Southland tournament in Katy, Texas. The top 8 qualifiers from the regular season go. The top 2 seeds get a double bye, and the 3rd and 4th seeds each get a single bye. So every game matters in the Southland Conference. Now, the Colonel women returned at Stopher Gym this weekend, and you can listen to both games on the Colonel Sports Radio Network, presented by your local Super Chevy dealers. Nichols takes on Houston Baptist on Thursday at 5:30. Then it's Texas A&M Corpus Christi coming in for a 1 o'clock tip on Saturday. KNSU 91.5 FM will carry both contests. Then it's on to Lake Charles on Tuesday. The Cowgirls of McNeese State bounced the Colonels from the Southland tournament last year. Nichols will be looking for retribution. That one starts at 5:30 on Tuesday. KNSU will have the call once again. Folks, I want to let you know there are plenty of ways to keep up to the minute with Nichols Athletics. Find our new page at Instagram.com/ColonelSports. We're at YouTube.com/Nichols Athletics, Facebook.com/Go Colonels, and Twitter.com/Colonel Sports. We are back. This is Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. It's time to announce our Rouse's Student Athlete of the Week. You're either local or you're not. Louisiana's Best can be found at your local Rouse's or at rouses.com. This week we have sophomore guard Imani White. The New Orleans native averaged 17 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists this past week. Now taking a look at what's going on around Nichols Athletics this weekend, the men's tennis team opens up their spring season at South Alabama on Saturday, while the women's team visits LSU coming up on Sunday. The track team also opens their slate against McNeese on Friday at the McNeese Classic. We will have a whole lot more for you on all of our athletic teams as they begin their spring competition coming up on the next edition of Colonel Basketball Weekly. We're going to take our final timeout. We'll be right back to wrap things up here on Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional.
You may know Thibodaux Regional Medical Center is the only hospital in the region recognized by J.D. Power and Associates 9 times. But did you know they're the only hospital in the region to receive Health Grade's Outstanding Patient Experience Award 6 times in a row? The only hospital in the region to receive 9 Summit Awards, and the only hospital in the state whose cancer program has received the Outstanding Achievement Award 3 times? Sam's mom, Liz Dietrich, knows. Families know. Thibodaux Regional Medical Center for expert, compassionate care.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day.
Come on, Chef, let's go shopping.
All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
you know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day
and get our best price every day. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for. Every day we find a way to make your life better, that's what we're here for. Yeah, we're all about the people. We help you take care of yourself. That's what we do. We're here for you with people's health.
Back here with you on Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. Big games coming up this weekend. Houston Baptist and Texas A&M Corpus Christi coming in this weekend. You can keep track of our teams and their progress not only this week, but every week on our official website. It's GoColonels.com, G-E-A-U-X, GoColonels.com. There's fresh information there every day, not only about our basketball programs, but all 14 of our athletic programs here at Nichols State University. G-E-A-U-X, GoColonels.com. Check it out each and every day for the latest Nichols athletics news. That is going to do it for this week's program. We will talk to you again next week with results from the Houston Baptist and Corpus Christi games and a whole lot more here on Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. Today's show has been presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, dedicated to patient-centered excellence. This show has also been sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. You're either local or you're not. And People's Health, your Medicare health team. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.